Sometimes the bravest person in a time of war is a child. Today I'm going to tell you the story of one young girl in Williamsburg who proved that courage doesn't always have to carry a musket. Imagine Williamsburg in June of 1781. The calm colonial capital suddenly is trembling beneath the marching boots of British General Cornwallis's army. Redcoats are lining the streets, cannon wheels thundering over the cobblestones. Shop windows were slammed shut, and families hid behind locked doors as soldiers seized homes, livestock, clothing, and food. Williamsburg had known tension before, but never like this. Yet in the chaos of that occupation, one moment of courage shone brighter than the fear that surrounded it. It came not from a soldier, not from a statesman, but from a young girl, a child who stood between British soldiers and her family's King James Bible. What I'm about to share with you is a long-told local tradition here in Williamsburg. Not a documented event, but it reflects the very real fear and courage Williamsburg families, as well as other families around the country, experienced under British occupation. In those days, you could hear the British columns of soldiers marching long before you could see them. The tramp of boots, the shouting of officers, the rattle of gear and supplies, and the clatter of wagons and artillery as it moved up the road. Williamsburg families peeked through the shutters as troops marched past. Inside of one small home, a house like any of these that you see around us here in Williamsburg, there was a mother gathering her children together. She whispered, "The soldiers are coming, hide what you can." But father hid money under one of the loose bricks of the fireplace. The mother hid the silverware beneath the blankets. But one object remained in plain view on the table, the family Bible. Worn, marked, and beloved, it was the heart of their home, and there was no time to hide it. The little girl was probably no older than 12 years old, and she saw her mother freeze in fear. She herself felt her own heart pounding, and soldiers were already shouting just a few houses away. And in that moment, this child acted with a clarity that the adults around her could not. She lifted the Bible, pressed it against her chest, then tucked it beneath her dress and sat down firmly on the floor. She folded her hands in her lap, and she lowered her head. She prepared to stay that way no matter what happened next. Her family watched in stunned silence. She had decided she would not move, not for anyone. Then the pounding began. The door shook on its hinges. A soldier's voice barked, "Open in the name of the king!" The father had no choice, so he opened the door. British soldiers swept inside, their muskets slung over their shoulders, their bayonets gleaming, eyes scanning from one room to the next, looking for anything valuable. They overturned chairs, they kicked open chests, they seized the blankets, the coats, and food. One soldier saw the little girl sitting rigidly on the floor. "Up," he ordered. She did not move. He stepped closer. "Stand up." Still she did not. Her mother shut her eyes. The father held his breath. The soldier scowled, but something about her stillness, her dignity, her quiet defiance, it unnerved him. Finally, he turned away. The soldiers left moments later, taking most of the family's possessions with them, but they did not take the family's Bible, because that little girl refused to surrender it. When soldiers were gone, the girl's mother lifted her daughter into her arms and wept with gratitude. They retrieved the Bible and grasped it tightly in their arms. Relief swept over them. The mother opened the Bible to the passage they had read just the night before. In Psalm chapter 56, verse 3, she read, "What time I am afraid, I will trust in Thee." And there was another verse which became the girl's lifelong testimony. In Psalm 119:11, it says, "Thy word have I hid in mine heart, that I might not sin against Thee." And from that day forward, the family told the story of how their daughter saved the Word of God by the strength God Himself provided. You know, we can learn something profound from the legend of this little girl. That is that courage is not measured by age, faith is not measured by size, strength is not measured by the circumstances. It is measured by a heart that trusts in the Lord. In 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 45, the words that were spoken by David apply just as well to this little girl. Thou comest to me with a sword and with a spear, but I come to thee in the name of the Lord. She faced soldiers, armed, angry, unpredictable, yet God steadied her. And He will steady you. Young ladies and young men today can look to her courage and remember, God delights to use the small, the overlooked, the seemingly powerless to show His might. Cornwallis's soldiers eventually left Williamsburg. The war ended, peace returned. But the memory of that young girl sitting firmly upon her family's Bible became a treasured testimony passed down through the generations. It reminds us that even in the darkest hours, God strengthens the hearts of those who will trust in Him.